I know we were expecting some new developments this weekend, but some of them have failed quality control. Make sure you indicate what you'd like redeveloped via the workstation.
What's going on, guys? It's Luke22SV here, and we're back with the second round of the Season 2 of the Mick Schumacher career mode. We're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and as you can see there, we've got some engine upgrades that have just come into the car this weekend, as well as some chassis upgrades which didn't quite work, which will be put onto the car for the next weekend's race in China. But there you can see for the first time this season the order of the grid, and Ferrari and Red Bull are at the top, Mercedes is third, Renault are fourth, Haas, and then Haas to McLaren is very tight, so we do not know who's the best there. And of course Williams are stone dead last, as you can see. But we're moving on, and we're just fixing our chassis upgrade, which should 100% come into China, as long as some aero upgrades as well. So we're looking forward to getting those onto the car, hopefully moving the Sauber team up the grid and up in the pecking order as well in terms of pace. We had a great round in Australia with 4th and 5th. With a bit of luck as well, both the Ferraris dropping out and Bottas having his problems as well. So it could have been basically 7th and 8th, or 5th and 6th. But we did look really good in Australia, and it's promising for the rest of the season, really. We were best of the rest. There's still a little bit of the gap between ourselves and the top 3 teams. Mercedes, despite having the 3rd best car, actually looked pretty strong in Melbourne, and it was Ferrari that were the ones that were struggling. Red Bull front row of the grid again, front row lockout. So we'll expect similar things here in Bahrain. Depends how we can do. We're hoping for top 10 on the grid again. We were best of the rest in qualifying, 6th on the grid in Melbourne. So if we can get something like that in Bahrain, that'd be awesome. But this isn't one of my strongest tracks, and we're coming round to one of the hardest corners to get right in the entire calendar. We do get it right without locking up at the time. Perhaps could have gone a bit faster through the exit, but it's a really difficult corner to get that right. And we're coming to the end of the lap, which is nice. It's probably the easiest part of the track. A nice little left-hander which leads to a long right-hander here. And Charles Leclerc goes fastest as well through. That's our benchmark, our teammate. If we can go faster than him, that will be excellent news for us. And indeed, it does look like we're up on his time, so that will be good news. Hopefully we can go up and get to P1 at this point. So we got the Ferraris, and Renault actually, Carlos Sainz goes faster than him. So that's a sign that Renault are pretty good as well around here. Obviously Renault had their difficulties in round 1 with Sainz retiring at the start of the race. And there we go P1 provisional pole position, as Hulkenberg actually goes faster enough. So are we going to be fighting with Renaults? That's the question. If we head onto the grid, and it's actually Ferrari 1-2. So Ferrari got the fastest car this weekend. Red Bull second on the second row, Mercedes on the 3rd row. So that's pretty much dead between the top 3 teams. Then it's all a mix between everyone else. My teammates got best of the rest this time. Myself is down at 14th, so not the best result for us. Ahead of Carlos Sainz, Hulkenberg's up there. Both the Force Indias look pretty strong as well, and Haas actually improving this weekend. And McLaren and Williams head towards the back of the grid, unfortunately for them. But that is quite poor for McLaren, who were looking pretty good in pre-season testing. But Williams looking completely off it again. I think they were really far off McLaren as well. So we're heading into the race then for the Bahrain Grand Prix. What can we do then from 14th on the grid? It's not quite the best result we could have asked for, but hopefully we can make up places from the start. It's quite a good track to make up places on the first lap. It tends to be quite bunched up, particularly on the first few corners. There's very possible chances to making up positions. But now then, we'll move on to the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's Sebastian Vettel on pole, so both the Ferraris failed to finish in Australia, so they'll be looking to get maximum points this weekend, with both the Red Bulls in row 2, Verstappen ahead of Ricciardo, Verstappen the race winner from Melbourne. And then you got Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas, followed by Leclerc, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Ocon, Grosjean, and then myself on 14th place, behind Pierre Gasly. Sainz having a disappointing qualifying as well. Most of the McLarens will be hoping for better than that, and then both the Williams is on the back row, which we'll see that a lot this season, I'm sure. As we now move on to the start of the Bahrain Grand Prix, what can we do then from P14? So we head on to those 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go in Bahrain. It's a fairly good start. We get a good launch, but everyone else is getting a better acceleration from that, and we don't quite have the best start. But we're heading into turn 1, looking to make up places ahead of both Haas's, and but looks like we're ahead of Force India as well. Esteban Ocon on the side of us. We actually have to get through turn 2, and Bahrain Grand Prix is underway, and we're ahead of both the Magnussen and Grosjean in the Haas's. So we're now heading towards the turn 4 with Ocon, Hulkenberg and Perez ahead of us. So we can see if we can make up any positions here. So Hulkenberg and Ocon is a good start. We've made up 3 places so far. We can make up a few more if we're brave enough, and we head into a corner which is a good opportunity for overtakes. We're looking to make a move down the inside of Hulkenberg and Ocon. And we do actually stick a move down the inside. Hulkenberg kind of gets out of the way, which kind of forces Ocon to go wide, and he loses a few places there. So we head towards the double left-hander, which is one of the hardest corners to get right, and we can see Perez, Leclerc and Bottas ahead of us. So we'll be looking to head towards them now. So what can we do? Heading towards the end of this lap. It's going to be P9 at the end of this lap by the looks of it. Unless we can get close enough to make a move on Sergio Perez, which doesn't look likely. We've got Charles Leclerc ahead of him, so he's lost a place, I think, off the start. Actually, no, he hasn't. He's still in P7. He's actually quite close to Valtteri Bottas, so maybe he's close to gaining a place. Of course, Valtteri Bottas has had a terrible season in Season 1, looking to make amends in Season 2. Had a little collision with me and had to hit twice in Australia, so it's already not got off to the best of starts. But Max Verstappen leads the way after lap 1, so Max Verstappen's overtaken both Ferraris, which is not what Ferrari wanted. We head on to lap 2, and here's the replay of the start. Both the Ferraris there, and it looks like Verstappen got a better start than both the Ferraris, and you can see he's alongside Kimi Raikkonen heading into turn 1, and it looks like he's alongside of Sebastian Vettel as well, and Vettel's lost out badly there. So Vettel losing out in the first corner again. We've said that quite a few times in this career mode, and there's a bit of debris there as well after turn 1. Not sure who that belongs to. But we head towards turn 4, and it looks like Max Verstappen's got the lead. And you can see Hamilton as well fighting side by side with Valtteri Bottas. So don't know what happened with Bottas. He's obviously fallen back a bit since battling toe to toe with Hamilton. But heading towards the turn 6, we've got both of Hulkenberg and Ocon, and we look to make a move down the inside of both of them. We do get past them, and Hulkenberg forces Ocon out wide, and he now loses a place to both Grosjean, and it looks like he might have to fight off Kevin Magnussen. No, because Gasly's actually got past one of them. So both the Hasses are gaining and losing places there. We now move on to lap 2, and we can see Perez right behind Charles Leclerc now. So Perez is looking to make a move on Leclerc. Our teammate, we're looking to move in on this as well and have some of this party. And it looks like Perez has got past Charles Leclerc now. But Perez has got past Leclerc. What can we do? Are we going to make a move down the outside? We're on the outside. Does Leclerc squeeze us? He does not leave us. He does leave us enough room, and we do manage to get up into P8. So a nice move on our teammate there. Now we're now looking to move on and try and catch up to Sergio Perez and see if we can get past Valtteri Bottas as well. Because Bottas is actually holding us up a little bit here, which is unusual because he's meant to have a better car than everyone else behind him. But for some reason he's not got the pace around here, which is unfortunate for him. We now move on to the start of lap 4, and we're close to Sergio Perez. We've got DRS wide open with our teammate behind us, and Perez is now looking to make a move on Valtteri Bottas. So Bottas really struggling at this stage. He's still not been able to pull away from us, and Perez is now really close to making a move, but he gets a poor exit out of turn 3, and we're looking to make a move down to the inside, and we're actually getting past him, alongside him, and getting ahead into turn 4. We're nicely overtaking him, almost running into the back of Valtteri Bottas. Managed to get a good enough exit to not allow Perez to get past us. So we're keeping ourselves in P7, and we're best of the rest at this stage. There's a good possibility of even more points if we can get past Valtteri Bottas. We look to make a move down the inside, but we're very deep, and we have to concede a position, and Valtteri Bottas gets ahead of us. We almost concede a position to Perez, but we come back on in the racing line. We do not have to worry about him getting past us, but it's a brave move on the inside of Bottas, which didn't quite work out. We had to cede that position, so we couldn't get past into P6. We're going to have to settle for P7 for the time being and see what we can do here. We've got Bottas in front of us, we've got Perez behind, and everyone else in front. The top 5 all flying away, so Red Bulls and the Ferraris and Hamilton all doing quite well around here. So Hamilton's doing quite well in the 3rd best car at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what he can do, see if he can keep up with the top guys or whether he's going to fall away. But Perez and Charles Leclerc is behind me, and we've got a bit of a train here as well. So Bottas is holding everyone up. I'm not really sure why Bottas is going so slowly, but we're going to try and make the most of it and try and get an overtake on Valtteri Bottas. We've got DRS open. Can we make a move on Valtteri Bottas into turn 1? It's the start of lap 5. We go down the inside, and then indeed we do actually make a move on the inside of him, a little bit deep into the first corner. Bottas now looks to fight back, but we get a better exit as well. So Bottas gets shrugged off, and we're actually ahead of Valtteri Bottas now into P6. So we're in a Mercedes sandwich. But it looks like Bottas is now having to defend from Sergio Perez, and Perez has now got past him himself. So Perez is now up to P7. So Bottas is really struggling at the Bahrain Grand Prix for some reason. It's just seems to be Bottas is struggling in this whole career mode as well, so we're not complaining. We're out of shape though on the exit of turn 5, and we're now looking towards trying to keep hold of P6 and looking to settle for P6. This would be a good position for us at this stage. We'd be happy with that. Come towards the end of this lap pretty much. You got the double left-hander, which is a hard corner to get right. Now is Perez going to be looking to attack us? That's the question. Can we keep ahead of Perez? Is Perez going to be too quick for us at this race? Force India have been looking good in pre-season. They looked okay in Australia, but they didn't have the right fortunes. But now Perez is now looking to make an opportunity to overtake us, which would be great news for him. Great news for Force India, because they were really looking to get some points as well. But Perez is now closing in on us, and we're having to save our ERS as well. So it's not really helping us, and we turn it into hot lap mode to try and defend from Sergio Perez. But is it going to be enough? Because now Verstappen's in the pits as well ahead of us, and Raikkonen's also pitting. But Perez now looking to make a move on us, and we can see in the background our teammates pitted. So our teammate's behind us, but he's pitting before us. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Why the team favoured our teammate over us? And Perez has gone past us on the inside. We lock up, but we have a huge moment in the braking zone. We have to concede the position to Sergio Perez. So that's a bit of disappointment for us. Seeing our teammate go into the pits, might have lost a bit of concentration there. But Perez is now past him, and now we have to try and get past him again. But we're both looking to pit on this lap, so if we can get a bit of a better pit stop, then we can re-overtake Sergio Perez. But that's going to be relying on our pit crew, and we need to get close enough and see if we can get a DRS move perhaps, or we come up to the next straight. There will be DRS available, and see if we can get a good exit and try and overtake Perez. We got our ERS is turned down again, so it doesn't really look like we're going to be able to make a move on him. So Perez is going to stay ahead of us going towards the end of this lap. It looks like it's going to be the case, but heading towards the end of this lap,
They seem to have an issue.
Sebastian Vettel seems to have an issue as well. So Ferrari having problems again after such a turbulent, disappointing Australian Grand Prix where both cars were out of the race, and Kimi Raikkonen is out of the race as well. So we get the news that Vettel has got a problem, and then Raikkonen retires at exactly the same time. A complete disaster for Ferrari. What is going on down at Maranello, and why have they got such bad cars at the moment? Because Vettel retired in Australia with problems. Raikkonen also retired due to an incident which was probably a mixture of my fault and his fault. But Raikkonen out of the race, and Vettel had problems. So Ferrari really having a poor start to the season, despite being 1 on 2 on the grid as well. So Vettel is going to be struggling to stay there as well. It looks like Verstappen was leading anyway, so Red Bull looking strong. We have to wait a little bit in the pit lane as well. So we come out, and can we stay ahead of our teammate who's just got the undercut? And it doesn't really look like it, as you can see. He goes past there. Charles Leclerc has done the undercut, and he's managed to get past us. Can he get past Sergio Perez? Can we stay ahead of Nico Hülkenberg? We go into the corner ahead of him. He turns in, but we just get ahead of him anyway, and we keep hold of our position ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. But it's a bit of a disappointing moment for us, because we managed to lose our position to Charles Leclerc, our teammate, when we pitted after him and we were ahead of him anyway. So for some reason the team have favoured our teammate, which is not what we want, and we're coming out of the pits and now ahead of Esteban Ocon. But you can see Leclerc and Perez ahead of us, which is just frustrating, because we could have been there and we could have been ahead of Perez and Leclerc had the strategy team favoured us. For some reason they favoured Leclerc. Now we've got to try and catch up with them, but it doesn't look like we have the pace as well at this point, because the soft tyres just felt really sluggish, and we just couldn't get the car working on these tyres. We felt much better on the super softs than we did on the softs. So we're coming round, and well, we're trying to close in, but we've got to focus on Ocon is behind us as well. In fact, Bottas is behind Ocon, I think. I remember this time last season we had to fight, I think it was Ocon and Bottas as well. So it's a bit of deja vu perhaps, and we go run wide as well. A double left-hander, one of the hardest corners to get right, of course, on the calendar. But moving on now to lap 10, we're falling further away from the guys in front of us, Leclerc, who's fighting Perez, but looks like Perez is actually now ahead of him and looking to succeed. But we've also got Nico Hülkenberg, who's out of this race as well now, so disaster for Nico Hülkenberg, which is just not good news for Renault, who had their issues in pre-season, of course, with reliability. And now the fact that Hülkenberg is retired has kind of illustrated that they're just not reliable at the moment, despite being, well, the 4th best team on paper. They haven't been the 4th best team on track at the moment, which has seemed to be us. But Ocon now is closing in on us, and can we defend 7th place from Esteban Ocon? Because as good news is with Vettel retiring, is that, well, we got Raikkonen retiring rather, is that we managed to move up a position and we do get P7. We've got teammate Leclerc in P6, so it's looking quite good for a Sauber viewpoint again, getting plenty of points, and Force India are going to be scoring plenty of points as well at this stage because Ocon and Perez are doing well for their team. We've just got to keep ahead of Esteban Ocon as well, try and keep hold of P7, because now we can see there's proximity arrows getting closer, with Ocon is now looking to make a move into turn 1 perhaps. We're looking to defend as much as possible. Is Ocon going to get past us now? Bottas is having a look as well. Is Bottas going to make a move down the inside or down the outside? We do manage to keep ahead of Bottas as well. Ocon is also staying behind us as well, so we keep ahead of Ocon, we keep ahead of Bottas. But for how long can we keep ahead of these guys for? Because Bottas, for some reason, didn't enjoy the super softs, and now we're not enjoying the softs, and as you can see, we're just struggling to slow the car down into the corners, and we're just having to slow like as much as possible, and Ocon is closing in, and Bottas is going to be right on us as well. Just 4 laps left. Can we keep hold of P7? We're going to be able to get some points home at least, because the cars behind, there's not enough cars behind Bottas and Ocon to close in on us, so it's all good at the moment. But Bottas is now closing in on us, and again the double left-hander, we look up quite badly there, and that's going to put Bottas very interested with DRS. Can he get close enough to make an overtake? Not really the best overtaking opportunity in this corner. It's quite a fast braking zone, so you normally be able to get past into a slow braking zone, but Bottas is almost very interested in getting past there, but he does not get past. He does not. He sees an opportunity, but it's not a full opportunity. It's a half opportunity, and he doesn't quite maximise it. We still stay ahead of Bottas as we head on to 2 laps to go. Can he get ahead of us? Which is the main overtaking opportunity is turn 1, and then it's turn 4 after that as well. So can Bottas get past us here? And Leclerc and Perez are fighting still over P5. So that's something we're going to have to see whether Sauber can get some more points, or whether we're going to lose some, because Bottas and Ocon are still interested. Bottas is looking to get down the inside. Can we keep ahead of Bottas? We do for the time being. We've run a bit wide, and that's going to put Bottas really close to us, because we've got such a poor exit out of turn 2 and 3, and Bottas is now on the outside of us. And Ocon's going to be interested as well. Can Ocon go down the inside? He's looking to split us in the middle. We stay ahead of him, and we can see a pink front wing as Ocon actually gets back past Bottas. Now they're fighting, so we just have to try and focus on getting away from those guys and letting Bottas and Ocon fight each other, which will be good news for us. And we're actually still struggling, again almost going off the track completely there. But we do stay on the track, and we do keep the car going. And it's Ocon and Bottas that are fighting at the moment, which is good news for us, which means that we can try and keep hold of P7, although the car is trying its best to keep us, well, the car's trying its best to make us go off the track, but we're doing our best to keep it on the track at the moment. So we're heading on to the last lap then shortly. Can we keep hold of P7? Is Ocon going to be able to get past us? Is Bottas going to be able to get past us? We'll shortly find out, coming towards the last few corners of the second to the last lap, with Ocon very close to us. Have we saved up enough ERS or fuel to go for it on the last lap? Yes, we have. We decided to go into hot lap mode. We're going to be able to launch all of our ERS going off to the last lap, and now a few cars have caught up, so if we do make a mistake, that could be us out of the points. If anyone makes a mistake, they could be out of the points. It's not good. Then we've got a lot of pressure on us going on into the last lap. Can we keep hold of our P7? And going into turn 1, one of the main overtaking opportunities, we do keep hold of P7. Ocon does not get close enough to make an overtake. Now it's the main focus is turn 4. If we can get through turn 4, we may be able to keep hold of P7, and we might be able to get home and dry. And in fact, we do keep hold of our position into turn 4. Ocon cannot get past us, but now we can see the red proximity arrow getting really closer. But indeed, he actually has to pull out of something there, and he slows himself down. We almost go off. We're very struggling on the last lap. How did we keep the car pointing in a straight line then? Is beyond me, but we do manage to keep the car going. But now we've got really focused on defending from Ocon again. Without that mistake, we would be quite home and dry by now. But now we've got to focus on defending from Ocon. Can we keep it going on the last lap of the race? It looks like we actually get a better exit out of that corner than Ocon did. So we're heading towards the last sector of the lap. We should be okay. We should be okay to keep hold of P7 as we come towards the end of this race. And it's going to be Lewis Hamilton who wins the race. So Lewis Hamilton doing a mega job in that Mercedes, which isn't the best car at the moment. So he'll be very happy with that. And it's both the Red Bulls on the podium. Ferrari and Vettel finishing 4th. And it looks like it's going to be Perez and Leclerc in 5th and 6th. And it could be myself in P7. Can we get across the line? It's going to be very close. Ocon gets a better exit out of the last corner. Can we get to the finish line before he gets past us? Yes, we can. We do get to the finish line before Ocon, and it's a great drive from us. And Ocon did end up getting past us, but it was a little bit too late, and we're very happy with that. As we move on to the end of the race, a great result for Lewis Hamilton. He'll be thrilled with that. A huge win for Mercedes after looking a bit average as well in the first couple of races. Toto Wolff will be happy, but well, moving on to the end of the race then, it's Hamilton, Verstappen and Ricciardo on the podium again, which I think it might have been the same in Australia. So the same podium as it was in Australia then. With moving on to the end of the race with Vettel finishing P4. How does this change the constructors and drivers? Because Ferrari got some points, Mercedes have got some points that may put us behind Mercedes in the constructors. We're 4th in the drivers' championship actually, so that's awesome for us. Nice, and our teammates on the same amount of points as us as well. So Raikkonen still down there on no points, along with everyone else that's on no points as well. The constructors were down to 3rd, but behind Mercedes. We can expect that though, but we're still ahead of Ferrari. Ferrari are down in 5th now. They've overtaken Renault and Haas and McLaren, but it's still just Toro Rosso and Williams without points. But that's going to be the end of the episode there pretty much. Good result for Sauber. Could have been better had the team favoured us perhaps, but it's going to be the end of the episode there. Thank you guys for watching. China will be up in 2 days of course, and thank you, and like and subscribe, and see you soon.